Hi everyone, so, in an almost existential level of irony, cruising, for a short period before Omicron, seems to have come back as a travel option of choice despite all the craziness with the pandemic. The question today is, can an introvert survive a solo cruise? One thing you notice when you start researching cruising is how much of it is based on crashing people together who are seeking new friends and interactions. Like that very breath depends on it. If you then add a side order of activities that sound like enforced fun and wash it all down with communal dining, you pretty much have cruising. Take a random look at cruise forums and people even go out of their way to connect with people on sailing ahead of time to ensure they maximise their chances of meeting new people. Even though they're already going with someone else, at least one other. At times, cruise forums can seem like a breeding ground for an extreme and desperate form of extroversion. I mean, they really do get concerned if they don't connect to people before they get on the ship. It comes across like an introvert's worst nightmare. So can a solo introvert survive on a cruise ship? The answer is yes, because I did it for 7 days. Question is how? The key to enjoying an experience is 1. All interaction is on your terms. 2. The cruise experiences allows you to be happy by yourself. 3. You have environments to experience introverted mindful bliss. This means a lot of the standard advice you see for solo cruising doesn't fit, as the first advice they give is a myriad of strategies for making new cruise friends early. This puts us back at using the forums ahead of the sailing, the all-important first night mingle, the dreaded organised first night fun for the solo cruisers. You get lots of solo advice. You get very little introvert advice. The first step in achieving a solo introvert friendly cruise is to choose the correct cruise line. You need a cruise line with solo cabins and solo pricing, and one which doesn't assume communal and/or fixed dining. You need solo pricing to avoid paying the cost of 2 people. Instead, you won't pay the cost for 1, but will be substantially lower than the cost for 2. As an example of this, the price for my 7-day cruise in the glorious Mexico sunshine was 800 quid, and that included all the food, speciality restaurants, and all the alcohol I could drink. And that was pretty much worth it for me, even though I don't binge drink or drink much at all, but those cocktails by the pool deck were pretty nice. You also need to look for cruise lines that have freestyle dining. This means you eat at the restaurants like you do in any major city, when you want, how you want, no presumption or raised eyebrow, if you have a table alone. You have to be a bit careful. Many a cruise line may not presume group dining, but they do still have a bias to people arriving in twos. Some cruise lines also present numerous options to try and support communal dining fans, even though you prefer to avoid it, which can sometimes just be a bit problematic. On my cruise, it was exactly like going to a land-based restaurant where it would be incredibly weird to ask or assume you're wanting communal dining with randoms off the street. The cruise line known for this the most is Norwegian Cruise Lines. It's why I went on my cruise with them. Independence is the core brand of Norwegian Cruise Lines, and they have solo cabins and solo pricing, which doesn't necessarily mean you're in a solo cabin. They put the solo pricing across the range. The important difference was the independence of choice was the default, while on some cruise lines it's a bit of a tag on as if you're a special case. I can't give a complete rundown of how other cruise lines handle it, but Norwegian Cruise Lines have gone very deep on independence. You know they've gone deep because they are a common target as an awful experience for all those people wanting to meet people at all costs. Next, you want to make sure you have environments you can go to that aren't always bars, theatres or your cabin. You want a certain type of lounge or environment that allows you to just be perfectly happy with yourself and your own thoughts. One of the key reasons I chose the Norwegian Bliss once I'd chosen Norwegian Cruise Lines was the identified relaxation spots of the observation lounge and the waterfront. I found the key thing is to maximise the experience of being around people, but also being by yourself at the same time. I know it is going to be weird to some people, but it works. I got through 7 books in 5 days, reading across the deck out in the sun, the waterfront in the shade, or sheltered from the wind in the evening in the observation lounge, listening to chill music acts with a drink, tearing through a book. So a key question is, would I have spent a lot more time in my cabin if I had a balcony? Now, I've thought about this a bit and I think the answer is no, as I don't mind being around people. The key is the interaction can't be full on all the time. Despite a private balcony sounding like the perfect choice for an introvert, it probably really isn't for a lot of us. A quick tip for the introvert enjoying the sun on the ship deck: I avoided the space around the pool, other than when it was less in demand on a port day, and used the deck above in a lounger facing out to sea. This offered enough privacy to allow me to relax and chill while enjoying the views, reading a book and having the odd cocktail, and any of the chaos was behind me. At this point, people may ask if I spoke to anyone. I mean, of course I did. I can't pretend I remember every single conversation, but I had numerous ones. I had one with a server in a restaurant because they were going to the UK soon. I had an interesting conversation with a couple on an excursion because, you know, it came up that the company I work for sends Major League Baseball's emails. There were loads, but the point is they seemed natural to events. They weren't imposed on me. They didn't involve painful small talk. And they were on not so much my terms, but a handy mutual set of terms, rather than just being assaulted with the need to, you know, talk to people all the time. It's my conclusion: an introvert can survive solo on a cruise ship. If you get the environment right, it can be an overwhelmingly positive experience, as you get to be disconnected from everything and have this incredible, extended, mindful moment, which lasts for days. And that is perfect for the type of person who has no problem just being with themselves in their own heads. The trick is to make the right choices to get the type of experience that seems to be the exact opposite of what the average person talking about on the cruise forums wants. So what do you think? Does a solo cruise make sense to you? Do you think it's a good choice for an introvert? Until next time.